Obviously, we've talked about it today. They've struggled a lot. So I want to bring in somebody that can speak to that, that's been on the field for the Cleveland Browns. They can speak to the struggles the defense is having. So with that, let's talk to our buddy John Hughes.
John Hughes.
Powered by Riverside FM.
All right, guys, please help me welcome former Browns DT, our official defensive correspondent and friend of the show, John Hughes. John, what's up, man?
Good, guys. Thank you. What's going on, guys? How we doing today?
Good. How have things been with you lately?
Pretty good, man. I can't complain. It's been you can't complain during football season, right?
I mean, if you're a Browns fan, you can.
We'll get to that, John.
We're still watching a lot of football, right?
Yeah. No, so before we get into anything Browns related, I know recently there was a huge milestone in your life. You scored your first touchdown at Huntington Bank Field. So can you tell us how that felt?
Yeah, man, it felt pretty good, man. I felt like I was back in my tight end days in high school, man. I haven't caught a touchdown pass since 2007, so it was pretty good to get back there on the field and catch the rock.
And it was a sellout at Cleveland Browns Stadium that week, wasn't it? I think they sold the stadium out.
It felt like it.
Yeah. So what's our capacity, Kenny?
I think 73,000 or so.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
You felt every bit of it, huh, John?
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. It was a quick slant on my touchdown, man. I thought I was gonna try to get loose a little bit, man, but it was fun.
Listen, I saw the dudes they trotted out for that game. I'm pretty sure you could beat most of them in a foot race, for sure.
And just beat them up.
Real quick, man. It was funny. We before we came out, they told us right before we came out, they were like, "Hey, you guys can wear cleats." And we're like, "What? This is the first time I ever played football without cleats on, right?" So the only guy that put his cleats on and didn't change was Hawk, right? The only guy that probably didn't need cleats out there anyway. And he was running all over the place, man. I remember there was one play where he was running to the side and he cut back hard, and I was running towards him. I was like, I got to make a business decision. and he just ran right past me, man. He was running all over the place.
Oh, man. He would.
So did your team end up winning that thing, John?
Yeah. We ended up getting the dub, man. It's funny because it was going so fast, it was quick as 10 minutes. I thought the score was tied, but, if they said we won, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Never walk away from a W.
No.
Hey, we took the trophy in the locker room. That's all that mattered.
Absolutely. So let's get into the Browns here. We try,
yeah, enough with the pleasantries. What the hell is going on with this football team?
Right.
Man. Listen, John, being our defensive correspondent, specifically on defense, last year, the defense was humming all season long. Yeah, like Jim Schwartz had them playing very good football, and so far in these first 4 weeks, it's been just night and day. It's been awful. So can you tell us kind of what you're seeing and what seems to be the issue?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times, especially with how good our defense was last year, we expect just them to start from where they left off at and just keep playing like that. But I feel like this team, this defense, has some work to do together. You know what I mean? And first, I would say starting with the run. As a defensive lineman, I used to pride myself on the run, and right now we're giving up over 120 yards a game. So I think being able to stop the run in the beginning is really going to help kind of set the tone for the defense.
I think the fact that we're giving up that amount of rushing yards, and we just played the worst rushing attack in the entire league, and we gave them 153, I think it was. Yeah. So, I mean, you can't do that.
No, it's hard to win football games when you're that poor.
Well, and then when you think about the pass rush we have up front, right? We always like to say, in order to rush the passer, you got to stop the run, right? You got to take one dimension out to make it the one dimensional, right? So when they're sitting there running the ball and they're productive and effective, why would you stop at that point? You know what I mean? So being able to stop the run, earn the right to rush the passer.
Hey, John, let me ask you. I mean, as a defensive lineman, and you're kind of like pre-snap, you're reading your keys. You obviously have a play call in. I mean, how confident are you? Obviously, again, you've watched film all week on these guys. Like, how confident are you that a run's coming? Like, you're looking at splits, I would assume, and there's different splits for pass versus run protections and things. Like, are you pretty well certain, like in a lot of cases, when you know a run's coming your way?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's breaking it down either run or pass first, right? And then you want to understand, all right, what kind of run, what are the odds of the runs that I'm going to get towards me or away from me, vice versa. And that comes with the splits, the different sets you get from the wings, the tight ends, and the backs. But yeah, you have a pretty good feeling of what's coming for the most part. Obviously, you said go out there and play football, right? But at the end of the day, there are a lot of keys that give you good ideas of where the ball is going.
Yeah, and I would assume that. I mean, it seemed. I'm assuming that they're doing all the prep work, and so they know all those things going into it. I mean, do you think that maybe part of this is just like preseason hangover, starters not playing a lot in the preseason and just not getting that time to just feel the game? Like, it just feels like it's so night and day from last year.
Yeah, I feel like it could be a lot of different things. But really, it's just the guys coming together, and obviously I've been in the locker room a lot of different games after losses like that, right? And it's really just the guys coming together, having that not quit mentality, and strapping them up and going to practice the next day and figuring it out, right? Because obviously we still only played 4 games, still got a lot of season left to go, but figuring it out sooner than later is going to help us out. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I know, obviously we just talked about it. You were at the stadium not too long ago for alumni weekend and doing the flag football game at halftime. So I'm sure at some point, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but you probably at least have met Jim Schwartz and talked to him a little bit. How furious is he that this defense is playing the way he is, do you think?
I can only imagine. It's one of those things, right? As a defensive coach, man, you prepped, you got your guys ready to go for the week, and the game doesn't go as you expect or as you want, right? But at the end of the day, you're still going to go out and do what you have to do. And I think, like I said in the beginning, it's got a lot of football to go, so just kind of keep preparing and keep prepping. Obviously, there's going to be changes, that they're going to have to make adjustments, but at the end of the day, yeah.
And I know, John, during your tenure with the Browns, they didn't necessarily have a ton of success every year. I mean, how difficult is that when you walk into a locker room at 1-3, just to kind of keep the team together this early in the season?
You think of the positives, right? Right after this game, I was pretty upset like every other Brown fan, right? But then I kind of put everything in perspective. I'm like, well, we haven't played a division game yet, right? So we're still 0-0 in the division. We're still, you know what I mean? And last time I checked, the winner of the division gets a shot in the playoffs. So
I like where your head's at.
Yeah,
that's the most hopeful I've felt since yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little shot in the arm. Not to mention, I mean, yeah, and obviously, we'll talk about it more on the show today. But you got Njoku coming back on the offensive side, and I know you're our defensive correspondent, but we got Njoku coming back on the offensive side. You got Nick Chubb getting closer. He's probably not quite there yet, but he's getting closer. So there is some things to at least look forward to here. But on the defense, back to the defensive side of the ball, how does the team fix this besides just coming together as a team? Is there anything specifically that they can do to right the ship here?
Kind of what I've just been seeing overall. Getting off the field when you need to, right? When you're on defense, you're trying to obviously get off the field, right? So when you get the team behind the sticks, giving up those big runs, those big catches for the first down, it's a morale kind of breaker for the defense. The guys that have been out there for 5-10 plays, but at the same time, you're giving your offense less time on the field too. And it's a game of possessions at the end of the day, right? So you want to be able to give your offense the ball as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. Just thinking of like the opposite of that too, John. I mean, when the offense continues to go 3 and out and that defense is just on the field for what seems like forever, I mean, how frustrating is that for a defensive player?
It can definitely get frustrating, but we always try to, look at the glass half full. I'm like, well, I get more TV time now. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
I've never played in the NFL, so I never thought of that as like a factor. But I'm like, you know what? You're right. Yeah, they're probably like, people will be watching me more now.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the end of the day. You're not going to be. When guys are complaining about not wanting to or they get mad about the turnovers. Yeah, they're mad that the offense turned the ball over, but it shouldn't be because they have to go back on the field, right? It's the fact that we lost an opportunity to score, pretty much.
Right. Enough. You mentioned one of the big keys to a turnaround is probably getting off the field on third downs. This week we have Jaden Daniels, and he's a very mobile quarterback. He's come on quickly. He seems to be handling defenses and reading defenses fairly well, especially for a rookie. So what sort of strain does a mobile quarterback like that put on our defense?
Well, I feel like, the biggest thing with a mobile quarterback is being able to contain, right? The last thing you want are three different options now, right? Now you have to worry about a run, a pass, or the quarterback keeping it and running, after he gets space, right? So being able to keep him contained, but honestly, I love our up front. I love our guys up front. I feel like we're going to rush the passer and we're going to get to him, right? I feel like there hasn't really been a mobile quarterback that's really gotten away from us. You know what I mean? It's like, we come up with them. We have a mobile quarterback, that you talk about Lamar's and the different guys, but I feel like our defensive line and our secondary and our backers, man, I feel like we do well against running quarterbacks either way.
Lamar's actually a perfect example because the past couple of years he hasn't torched the Browns at all with his legs. So.
Except for the time he had diarrhea and came back in the second half and beat us.
No, he had to run to the locker room and come back.
Yeah. But I think even that game, I'm pretty sure it was mostly with his arm. It wasn't with his legs. But anyways, listen, John. Obviously, we're going to do this to you. What do you think the score to the game this week is going to be? Who's going to win, and what's the score going to be?
Oof. Well, obviously, Browns are going to win. I say we'll be at 17-7. We might let one go, but we'll get it done on offense this week.
Nice. So 17. We're still not hitting that.
You guys can't just ask me. What do you guys think? What you guys got?
Ours is in our King of the North segment, but
Oh, okay. I'll make sure I listen for it then.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting because I know there's some differing takes here.
Probably not as optimistic as your take was.
Yeah. That's what we'll say for now. But it'll be on there. So check that out. We'll send it directly to you, John.
Oh, please do.
Let me ask you this: which side of the ball gets it figured out first? Do you think this defense comes together and starts playing like the defense they were last year, or do you think this offense is going to figure this thing out? Because the offense has been as difficult as the defense has had it. The offense has been probably way worse. So,
I feel like both sides are going to figure it out, but I feel like as a defensive guy, I want to say defense just because. Especially as a defensive lineman, getting the ball ran on you like that, it's you take that personal with a chip on your shoulder. You take that in the next week. So I feel like we're going to see a lot different play coming up.
Awesome. Nice. Well, hey John, it's been great having you on. We really, really appreciate your time. Once again, just all around good dude.
Got the best hair in the business.
Got the best hair in the game. Former Browns defensive tackle. Our official defensive correspondent and all-around friend of the show. John, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.